He didn't want anyone else to know, so he kept it a secret. But the truth was eating him inside. And when he finally came out to confess, the whole world was stunned. See guys, Messi's biggest dream wasn't winning the Champions League or the World Cup. He wanted something else. And that was to become the best dad in the world. He knew it wasn't gonna be easy. So he came up with a plan. But the first step was gonna be the hardest. When he was just a kid, Leo saw the love between his mom and dad, and wanted that for himself. So he went next door and found his own woman. But what he didn't know was that trouble was just around the corner, because just when he thought he'd found the perfect girl, Antonella Rakuso, disaster struck. Leo was out preparing for a game in Barcelona when he got the call. Antonella and her best friend got involved in a freak accident and her best friend died on the spot. Antonella was devastated. Immediately, when Messi got the news, he had only one thing on his mind, so he packed his bags and flew straight down to Argentina, just to be with Antonella. But he knew we couldn't leave her back there alone, or she'd be thinking about it all day and never recover. So when he was ready to head back to Barca, he turned around and popped the million-dollar question. Follow me back to Spain and come live with me. Damn, Leo was asking her to leave everyone behind and go with him to a new country. But Antonella believed Leo would be able to protect and take care of her. So she agreed, and Messi had phase 1 in the bag. But it was only the beginning, because phase 2 of his master plan changed his life and exposed him to the entire universe. Even though he's extremely popular, Leo prefers to keep it simple, a quiet life. But when people found out that he had Antonella living with him now, the media went crazy. So pretty soon, he was blowing up on the news. Leo and Antonella decided to keep a low profile and hide their lives from the press. But he had people clocking his every move, every action he took. They had his eyes on him, and on the day Leo did the secret signal, they figured it out, and Messi's cover got blown. Guys, in this particular match, after he scored and hit this celebration, his fans figured out what was going on, and they went wild. The time would finally come. Messi's having a kid. Now Leo had eyes on him from angles, so he upped this game on and off the pitch. Because he didn't want to let his unborn child down, so he dedicated his life to becoming the best dad in the world. And on November 2nd, 2012, when he heard the cry, that was the biggest night of his life, because he knew phase 3 was in full swing. Leo's life changed. Now with Thiago by his side, he became a different man. It wasn't just him and Antonella anymore. You're gonna miss you, Mom. Leo was so proud in that moment that he decided to get a mark. That'll make him never forget the special occasion. With Thiago in the picture, now Leo was loving the family life. And Thiago was probably getting tired of trying to explain who Donatello in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is. So on September 11th, 2015, 3 years after Thiago was born, the Messi family hit number 4. Matteo and a record-breaking 5th Ballon d'Or. Leo was having a terrific year. Leo wasn't done with kids, so in 2018, while most ballers are preparing for the World Cup, Messi was preparing for something else. And in March, he completed phase 3. Having 0 was special for Leo. He got his name tattooed, along with other kids on his body, and now he had his dream family. He's dedicated his life to making sure he's there, every step of the way. Man, Leo loves his kids. But when they get naughty and disobey him, he turns into something else. Something so scary, they can't even look at him. But hey, he's only looking out for them, and trying to raise them right, like any good parent should. Hats off, man. He constantly reminds them to stay humble, work hard and be thankful for the life they have. And then he goes into flashback mode, because his career was almost over before it began. Growing up, Leo had it rough. His family, they weren't that rich. And Leo only knew how to do one thing. Leo was in love with the sport, and pretty soon, his parents knew that they couldn't separate him from the ball, so they had no choice but to get Leo signed up. And that's when they realized that Messi's life was in danger. Leo joined Newell's Old Boys, and a couple of months in, it was clear this kid was the future. But as his career was on the rise, he got terrible news. That it wasn't just his football dream, but his whole life that was about to come crashing down. See guys, the doctors ran tests on Leo. And that's when they realized that he had growth hormone syndrome. That's why he's grown so much. Dude was only 4 in the photo. All hope seems lost, until the docs dropped a lifeline. There is a cure for growth hormone syndrome, but the cost of the injections needed for treatment is between 1,000 to 5,000 euros. Just for one. Leo's family were only managing to survive. And they didn't have this kind of money. When the other clubs interested in Leo found out about the news, it was social distancing stuff. No one wanted to take up the bill, and Leo was getting ready to hang his boots, until Barcelona came along and saved his life. That's how Leo went pro and became the GOAT. And his kids understand it too, that their dad owes it all to Barca. So when they can kick the ball, there was only one place Leo was taking them to. Even though Thiago's the older one, it's Mateo who plays like his dad. And the coaches at LA Mesa were already hyping him up. Everything was going great until 2021, when the unthinkable happened, and the Messi family were left homeless. After a crazy mix-up with Barcel's finances in 2021, they couldn't afford to pay Leo's wages, so as insane as this may sound, Leo became a free agent. But it was only for a couple days. PSG came along, struck a deal with Leo, and he was on the move to Paris. However, Leo wasn't just thinking about himself. He didn't know how he'd break the news to his family. He and Antonella. They've done it before, but Thiago, Mayo and Ciro. And Barca was the only home they'd ever known. Leo didn't have a choice, so in an interview with French media, he told them about his kids' reaction to the move. And it was like he dropped a bomb on them. Thiago is more reserved. He liked to keep it to himself and didn't say much. He took it in and was really quiet. After Mateo, he cried a lot. Zero, he was still very young and didn't know much about what was going on. Damn, it must have really hurt. But they're settling in now, and Leo spends most of his time with them anyways. On Antonella's socials, they've got a ton of clips where he and the boys, even his dog, are playing together. See, because Leo spends quality time with his kids, they tell him loads of stuff, and it's pretty cool. Until the day Leo found out about his kids' biggest secret. And after hiding it for a couple months, it was eating them up inside. So when he let it all out, about who his kid's favorite idol was, it blew up everywhere. Leo's kids are unique, but when it comes to Mateo, that's when it gets interesting. See, Mateo loves to pull pranks on his dad. Like teasing him about Liverpool's comeback in 2019. Patiana see Messi. I should see the leader because they are not dead. Or Valencia, beating him in the Copa del Rey final. But that's all kid stuff. Leo came back from training one evening and asked his kids who their favorite footballer was. Now you definitely be thinking they'd say, it's their dad. Well, Mateo had other ideas. And when his name dropped on his dad, Leo was stunned. Oh, that's the ultimate diss. That's what Leo's been hiding from his fans all these years, man. His kids love CR7. Mitchell even pretends he's him, just to piss him off. But Leo still loves his kids regardless, and they'd support him no matter what. Leo's kids love him too, and when he's won or lost games, they've always been there for him, to cheer him up. And when Messi finally won the World Cup, they were by his side, rapping their pops. Now that's the stuff we're paid to see. Wonder what would have happened if their idol, Ronaldo, won.